in there, get your elbows out. So I tell myself I'm going to be meaner, but yeah, obviously I want to be mean, but I want to win. But I'm not here to ruin any relationships at the same time. My dream has been endurance racing, you know, whether it's IMSA or WEC, something like that. I love the hypercar racing. I love Le Mans. I love Daytona 24-hour. Those are such cool races to me. It'd be such a blessing to win those. But if I can get in an IndyCar, I'll be just as happy, you know. So I think IndyCar, you know, endurance racing is probably my goal right now. Scott's really good at, you know, the race directing part. He almost acts as a coach just for all of us, you know. Just tells us what to expect, what not to expect. You know, when I started first with F4 US, I was really, you know, stressed out, but, you know, his driver's briefings really helped me kind of calm down and, you know, back myself that I know what I'm doing. All the people that go behind this, you know, I know my parents, they're such a big impetus, you know, my coaches, my mechanics, my engineers, I know they travel so far from, you know, whether it's Spain or France or, you know, even if it's down the road from here, you know, they travel so far and they put so much hard work into it. You know, they're working 10, 12-hour days, and I'm the one who gets to have fun driving a car. So, you know, if I can put a smile on their face by doing good, then I'm going to try and do it as hard as I can.
Rest of the field. Let's go back into the paddock area where Ben is ready to give us another grid walk. Take it away, Ben.
Well, thank you very much, Ralph. Excited to be here. We just heard from this driver, Jet Bowling, with a great feature that was produced this weekend as the start. He's starting up here in P1 with Kiwi Motorsport, Chip Ganassi Racing Development Program. He definitely wants me to mention Bullhorn. Great logo here with the Bullhorn, and then Texas Orthopedic Associates. Jet Bowling, always one of our favorites, did really well last year. This is actually very fitting. Nicolas Ambiato here from Chile finished second in both races. Some unbelievable performances, starting P2. So look for him. I'm sure he's wanting to get up to P1. He doesn't seem to be happy with podiums, and that's the funny thing about this, such a championship mentality. They're only happy when they're on top. Then we heard Bruno Ribeiro yesterday in commentary. He's had a podium finish, very good driver. Bruno from Brazil. Bruno, what's your goal when the lights go out?
Is Mario good? Yeah, my goal, of course, is try to win. We'll see how the race plays out. I'm very excited, and yeah, I'm going to try to win this thing.
Nice. I love it. And the focus, I always feel bad sticking the mic into their faces because sometimes they're asleep, sometimes they're praying, they're focusing on turn one. I never like to do that. The winner of yesterday's round one, Titus Sherlock, who did really well last year in the Formula Regional Americas Championship, but then went out with an off yesterday. Titus, can you tell us what happened in the race yesterday?
Yeah, we were leading the race, and then unfortunately the engine blew up, so I had to retire. And hopefully we can redeem ourselves today.
So yeah, if you couldn't hear, those V4s from F4 pretty loud, but he had to retire yesterday. So super unfortunate because he was leading the race by about a second and a half and then went out with a mechanical. Then Nicholas Stoddy down here in the umbrella. But Nicholas Stoddy with us last year with Kiwi Motorsport, doing really well. I love the kind of day glow. Daniel Quimby, last year's Formula 4 United States champion here in FR. We got to get a shot here. He's got a fan in his lap. Anything that the teams can do to help out, all the way from Sydney, Australia. But it is hot down here. He's also flying right out of here Monday to go race in Porsche cars down there. But let me see if I can get the mic in here. Daniel, I know you're trying to focus, but what do you want to happen when the lights go out?
Probably for everyone to crash and not drive through. But nah, I think we should have some good pace for this race, and we'll see what happens.
He says we should have some good pace for this race. We'll see what happens. Now, a driver that we've been super impressed with, Brady Golan, won yesterday's race. Unbelievable, a Tony driver development. So, Brady, you're coming in with some good points. When the lights go out, what's your plan?
Just keep my head down. We're starting pretty far back, but I want to keep my head down, keep moving forward, and score another podium today.
I love it. Keep my head down, keep moving forward. So good. We've got another Canadian here, James Lawley, somewhat new to racing. James, are you enjoying this FR Championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great so far, and hopefully we have a good race today.
He says hopefully we'll have a good race today. Exactly. Lincoln Day running with us last year in F4. Was here with us, actually. The first F4 car we saw on track was here last year, piloted by Lincoln. Now he's in FR. Lincoln, lights go out. You're kind of mid-pack. What's the plan?
Plan is to stay safe, be aggressive, and make up some places.
Nice. Play it safe, make up some places. I don't know if you can see this, but loving the kind of sparkle, the white and pink for Lincoln Day. Then Barrett Wolf finished on the podium yesterday. They're firing up the engine, so I don't want to go in there, but you can see with Hack Trap, beautiful car here is Barrett Wolf with the Make-A-Wish, Southern Nevada. Some great partners and sponsors on these cars. Then we'll come back here. We heard from Connor Roberts starting from the back, but Connor Roberts has been in the series for a while. Very good driver with ApexSpeed.com. He wants me to mention Apex Speed. You can see his eyes. He was in the booth with us, but watch Connor Roberts, the red wheels, Ralph. Sticker, brand new tires. Let's take that washer off there if we can. But watch for Connor Roberts to move up. Anthony Ottiello here with Hope for the Warriors, running in our Masters with sticker tires on. So look for him to try to get around the Canadian of Kevin Jansen, also in Masters, but not on brand new sticker tires. But Kevin Jansen, very competitive, a hockey champion. Jake Pollock running through here with Jensen, who has a garage right down here. You can see the other driver, Furry, holding the umbrella. Are you hoping to make it to Formula Regional Americas one day?
Yeah, hopefully one day I can drive this car alongside with Eric and that. They're way faster than our junior cars, but hopefully one day we do.
Nice. Well, Furry all the way from South Africa. Ethan Sterling, very, very fast. Great driver to have in the series. Jensen's unbelievable with driver development. We've seen him in the Junior Formula Championship, but also now in Formula Regional Americas Championship. On the last grid walk, we talked to Nicola Verda. Nicola Verda, she's with Shift Up now, but also she's in the F1 Academy, came from China. She is not happy with what she's been experiencing yet this weekend. Starting from more of the back of the grid than we're used to, always a very fast driver. She's in the F1 Academy thanks to American Express. So look for her to move up through the field. Then the last one, HendrickCars.com. Starting 11th, Alex Benovitz. He gave the invocation to start the day. Very fast driver. He's a sales manager at a Hendrick Cars dealership in South Florida. But if you want a GM product, look at HendrickCars.com and talk to Alex Benovitz, because he can hook you up. And then you could be friends with Benovitz. Well, that is our grid down here. I'm seeing the 1 minute board. Ralph, I'm going to send it up to you in the booth.
All right, Ben, thank you very much. So we've got some great young talent that we're getting ready to watch here. In fact, Daniel Carr is going to be joining me for the call. We'll be talking with you quite a bit about the racing and what it's like to move up to the ladder series here with our Formula divisions. But we had a chance to chat with Paul Menard, our Trans Am presented by Pirelli Series champion, about these young drivers in the Formula categories.
Yeah, I mean the Formula cars. There's Formula R, there's Formula F4, right? And you look around the paddock, and we're all garage. You know, we're all in the same garage area, same paddock, I guess they call it. These kids are like 12, 13, 14 years. I mean, they're young, driving these open wheel cars. You know, not real powerful cars, but still they're a proper open wheel car. And they're just getting their feet wet at an early age, you know, learning big car experience, coming from karts to a rear-engined car. I've driven Skip Barber car, open wheel a couple times. I tested an Indy car one time. but that's basically the extent of open wheel that I've done, but they drive totally different. I mean, the way that with the engine in the back, the way if the car gets loose, you have to go to the gas instead of in a front engine car, you slow down, you just get off the gas, use the brakes. So a lot of different disciplines there as well. But yeah, it's just crazy to me seeing these little kids running around a place like Road Atlanta. We're running, minute 18 laps in a big car, and they're running minute 20, 28, minute 30, minute 32 laps around here. So that's getting after it for being just becoming a teenager.
Daniel, it's got to make you feel pretty good to have the Trans Am champion, the reigning champ, talking about how good the young talent is over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we're racing along these Trans Am guys, and all of us kids in these open wheel cars always want to end up in that kind of position. So it's incredible, it's an honor, and of course, he's right about that. There's a lot of talent.
So as we get rolling here with our FR Americas Championship, Formula Regional Americas, the official name, what do you like about these cars this series?
This car is the pinnacle of the kind of step ladder up into F1. They're about a 340 horsepower, a lot of aero. It's a baby F1 car, and you can see that just by the difference in times between the JFC, the F4, and up to these guys. So it's a great step, and it's a quick car, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a Honda Civic Type R 2-liter turbo engine, which is serviced and engineered by the folks over at Mountoon. 306 horsepower in a car that without the driver only weighs 1485.
Exactly.
Now with you in it, it might be 1495. With me in it, it would be significantly higher than 1485. I don't know if 306 would be enough to pull me around this place.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you have been running in the Formula Juniors Championship.
Absolutely.
And being very successful there. In fact, we saw you on the podium a couple times this weekend.
Of course. Yeah, it was a great start. We had a pole position, so I'm happy about that, but we were dealing with car problems. Kind of unfortunate, but that's racing. And me and my team, my best friend Cole and my dad, it's all three of us working hard, and we were able to salvage a lot of points, and I think we're standing second in the championship, so I can't complain.
No, we have a lot of big teams that we're going to be talking about who organize and run. We've got Crosslink, got Kiwi, Tony Driver Development, all competing in this category as well here at the FR Americas. They tend to have cars scattered through all three of the different layers of the ladder system. Your organization, on the other hand, is strictly you and your family.
Yes, small scale team, but we're still punching way above our class against these heavy hitters. Like you mentioned, Kiwi, we got Crosslink as well, and Tony Driver Development. They are really, really high level professionals involved not only in this series. So it's incredible, and you can see the level of talent not only in the drivers, but the way those teams operate with more than 5+ cars. It's incredible.
Take a look at some of the stars of the series. Bruno Ribeiro. What do you like about Bruno?
Bruno's a quick kid. I believe he's racing also and other cars this year, but he's been quick, and I think he has a chance to move up front.
He's going to be starting third here today. Rolling off second, Nicholas Ambiato.
Yeah, another kid, really quick. He raced last year, and I think he's got one of the chances to win.
And starting on the pole, somebody we introduced you to earlier today, Jet Bowling in that 22. Another driver out of Dallas, Texas.
Of course, not only from Texas, but we raced against each other too. So he's a quick kid. I hope he can carry out and keep it in front.
What's going on in Texas these days? Got a bunch of you young guys over here.
Yeah, it's a big place, and it's got a lot of good racing over there.
Well, here we go. This is going to be a standing start. And you guys do a standing start in your category as well. What do you focus on with your standing start?
So similar to F1, we have our startup procedure. What we do is we make sure the tires are operating temperature. We line up to that grid exactly in the position we need. We have a team manager telling us where to stop. We sit there, usually holding our foot right on the clutch, staying in first gear, watching the lights, and once they go, hold RPM and just drop it once the lights go out.
It sounds so simple, right?
Sounds simple, but it's a craft in itself.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see who nails it here. Our final standing start of the weekend. Speed Sport 1 live from NOLA Motorsports Park with the 2025 FR Americas Championship. Lights out, here we go. Bowling gets a great start in that 22. Named Jet for a reason as he heads down to Cube 3 Architecture, turn number 1 with the lead. Ribeiro in the 0-1. Bruno Ribeiro right there in second in the blue and green.
Yeah, that's perfect. The main goal is to get ahead and have clean air, and you can see these top 4 guys already out of the battle, except for maybe Titus kind of peeking in through Nico. But once you have that clean air, you can build up your gap and really put your head down and put up some qualifying times.
Yeah, Nicholas Ambiato sits in third now in the orangish red car, right behind Ribeiro.
Yeah, Jet had a fantastic start.
Titus Sherlock behind Ambiato. That's Ambiato. Oh, and one car. Is that
that's
Benovitz?
Alex. Oh, man.
Benovitz off at turn number 1. The sales manager from Rick Hendricks Chevrolet down in Naples, Florida.
I think he's beached the car over there. Oh,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
Well, we've talked about it. Even though the racetrack is dry, the grass is still very, very wet, isn't it?
Very, very slick. I think you can see around turn 6, right on the exit, there's still a little splash of water. So it's a massive puddle across the track. It looks dry. It is technically dry on the racing line, but off track, once you're stuck there, you're stuck, like you see Alex right here.
Our Janetta safety car has been turned out onto the racetrack and will pick up the field as they complete lap number 1 here.
Usually on these procedures, it's unfortunate to have these safety car starts, but if I was the guy in first place, just calm down, recollect my nerves, and get back into the mentality that I just need to lead this race and stay clear. Luckily, we do the single file restarts, so Jet's going to call when they go on the gas, and hopefully he can keep the lead.
This is the Ligier JFC chassis that they're utilizing in this category.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a fantastically quick car, and it's a lot of power to keep under control, and that's one of the main things that has the difference between the JFC car that I drive and this class up here is, of course, the power, but most importantly, the aero. You have to deal with a lot of the aero wash. Similar to the F1 guys, it's harder to follow through like these fast sections of the S's. So obviously gaps start to grow a lot larger than these other races, but you're still putting in laps as fast as you can, and once you get that gap, you go for it.
Yeah. The wing design and makeup on these cars, front and rear, is very different.
Very, very different. You have multiple levels of adjustment, front and rear wing, and multiple elements on that. And I think we see here Alex hopping on the tow truck. It's a shame. He was doing really well, but head down. He's pretty upset about that one.
Well, while Alex is going to wait inside the truck for his car to get towed back, we're going to take a quick break here. Speed Sport 1 is coming right back to NOLA Motorsports Park.
up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Well, there's the HendrickCars.com entry of Alex Benovitz on the hook. And it'll be off the racetrack here shortly, and we'll be back at it. So, Daniel, you and I were talking during the break. You were 22 years of age, and you're running in JFC right now. But your goal in 2026, if all goes right and you cash in that $150,000 scholarship, is to take that money and go right to this category, FR Americas.
Exactly. FR Americas is where I want to be. It's a fantastic championship. I know all the guys, all the stewards, all the tech guys, and the goal is to end up right here. It's a fast car, and it's really competitive, and a lot of the drivers like Titus, Jet, we got Alex here, Nico, a bunch of these guys I've raced against, and I feel like I can really have a chance in it, but it's not easy. A lot takes to compete in this championship, and I don't think I'm ready, but the more I work on in my championship, hopefully in the future I can end up here.
Yeah, well, we hope that for you.
Thank you.
All right, we hope to hear good things from Ben Sissel as well. Take it away, Ben.
Well, we're joking down here at Kiwi Motorsport. Nobody wants to be on camera with me, so he drew the short straw. Steven, one of the engineers here. Kiwi Motorsport, though, currently running 1, 2, and 3. Great start. What are your drivers saying on the radio?
I've been pretty quiet so far, just with that interruption in the first lap, so we're just waiting to get things restarted before we worry about any strategy or what we need to focus on. Nice. At the moment, it's just keep it clean.
Yeah. And do you offer any advice to the drivers, or does anybody in this paddock offer advice to them?
We try to minimize any conversation, let them focus unless there's something specific we can see they're doing wrong or to help them, but that's not usually the case. Try and just let them get on with it.
Cool. All right, well, you heard it here from Kiwi Motorsport. Back up to you in the booth, guys.
All right, Ben, thank you. The Janetta safety car is still on track. So where's the ultimate goal, Daniel? You're talking about you want to get to this series next, but where do you want to go ultimately?
My goal is kind of taking up the team owner role, actually. We have the JFC platform, and it's fantastic from kids coming from karts to cars. I was over in Houston, Texas at Speed Sports Racing Park, kind of talking to the young kids racing in the championship that the Radford School promotes, and trying to get them into this open wheel opportunity because it's fantastic. And that's the kind of role I want to take over, not only, of course, as a driver, but talking to other drivers and bring them into the opportunity of racing.
Awesome. Make your career that way.
Exactly. And I can't complain. I think I got some miles still left on the driving side.
I would say so after a couple of podium spots this weekend. Oh, we got another one off here too.
Oh, man.
Not sure where do you think that is? It's hard to tell from where we're sitting, folks, because this place is so flat.
I think I see that over there. We're looking around turn 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Something unfortunate.
5,
I believe that might be mechanical. I'm not sure that's anything on the driver over there.
Yeah. This place is 2.5 miles around almost.
Exactly.
And from where we are to where that car is sitting, it's got to be a good 1.5 miles or more away.
I believe so.
Across a gigantic field of grass and asphalt. So it's hard to tell sometimes where the cars are when you just look out the windows here.
This track is fantastic for the first round of the season. It's pretty
I hear
flat.
that from just about everybody because there's nothing really to worry about hitting too much here.
Well, yes, but it's still a technical track. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the most difficult because you're dealing with the bumps. You're dealing with the fast S's. We're entering about 125 in the JFC cars. I believe maybe even 140 in these Formula Regionals. So it's fast. It's very technical, and you're fighting the car almost every corner. But what's nice is that you can see the whole track. You're not dealing with the elevation, and it's relatively safe to battle and safe to, if there is problems, to go off track. And I think that's what makes this championship so nice because it starts at this exact.
Yeah, we've seen some incredible 2 and 3 wide racing all weekend long.
Exactly.
It's been very enjoyable. The one thing I was wondering, though, with it being so flat, and there not really being a lot of landmarks laying around, like trees or buildings and so forth. What are you looking for brake markers? Turning points.
Funny enough, I brought my sheet right here. I have a printout of this map, and a lot of the drivers, along with myself, we study the track as much as we can before we get here. And there are actually a lot of landmarks on this track. As we're looking over here, entering into this corner, you see that crack along the middle. We look for the turn-in points around there. We look at certain bumps. We look at the camber of the corner. That is the angle of the track, either leaning in or leaning out. So there is a lot to notice, and you got to have that mindset as a driver to look for them. And once you find them, that's usually your mark.
Yeah, you want to make sure they don't move.
Yeah, that too.
I had a driver telling me once, it was Buddy Baker, the great NASCAR driver, was telling me he was racing at Dover one year, Delaware, and he was using a guy who was standing along the fence in a red shirt as it's turning to turn one, and everything was going fine till the guy moved.
Yeah.
And he went down a little bit further, and all of a sudden Buddy went straight up the racetrack towards the wall, and he went, oh, better figure out a different turn-in.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that unless you talk to the guy and say, hey, just sit here for the whole race.
Yeah, yeah. It's not your crew guy. You can't trust him, right?
Yeah, usually as we're turning around here, we still got some time, and the safety car lights are out, so no tire warming from this point, but the guys are making sure their tires are up to temp. Bruno right there, right up against Jet. That's what you want to do. You want to be as close as you can to these guys, ready for the restart. And once Jet calls the start, he has a choice anytime along turn 16, right along the curbing. The sooner he gets on power, I think the better, and everyone's going to try to follow in behind and try to make a move for the pass. Let's see how it goes.
Well, he was a rocket on the standing start, got quickly out to the lead. Let's see how he handles the rolling restart here. Jet Bowling out front in that 22.
And I think we're green.
Look, there it is. Green flag is waving, and Jet already trying to break that arrow.
Yeah, there we go. We got 3 wide right in the front. It's Titus, Nico, and Bruno. Bruno on the inside. It's really bumpy over there. Watch the car bounce.
Oh, you can see Bruno trying to move over, and a little contact between the 31 and 55.
Absolutely. Now Titus here side by side with Nico. He's got the inside, and he's got the inside for this next corner as well. It's a good fight, and I think Titus can make a move. Let's see what he does.
Sherlock on the inside in that 31, and on the outside is Embiado.
Oh, they're still
Boy, they're still side by side, aren't they? That's for third. That's what makes this racetrack and these series combine so well together.
Exactly.
The fact that you can race through that section like that, side by side all the way through, and give each other plenty of room.
Exactly. You could almost race this entire track side by side. You can make inside moves, outside moves. It's incredible. But Jet must be super happy with that gap. I think he's ahead of Bruno. Yeah, look at that massive gap. Just putting his head down, making sure he's consistent with his times. Nico might be pushing up against Ribeiro, but yeah, that's a good start for him.
Seeing lap times in the 144 range. You like that pace?
Yeah. Actually, no. 144 is pretty off. They didn't have the time to put in some quick laps. You'll see them drop pretty quick.
Ribeiro's had a pretty good weekend as well on that 0-1.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. We're heading to the front stretch. We see the top. Probably 6 guys, all single file. Now it's just who has the quicker overall race pace, making the moves. I feel like no more crazy moves like the restarts.
Ribeiro out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Absolutely, fellow Brasileiro over here. So, yeah, wishing him luck.
Then Embiado back there in third. Good look at Ribeiro's car here. Solidly planted.
Exactly. Usually heading into the last couple races of the weekend, this is race 3, of course, we only have 2 tire sets to choose. So you have a strategy. We use it for the qualifying, race 1, race 2, and race 3, and we have 2 sets to choose from. So we decide whether or not we want to do usually a fresh set of qualifying and then maybe a fresh set of race 1 or 2. But now we're kind of fighting with old used race tires. And if you do a full 40-minute lap race, or a 40-minute race, you start to have some of the degradation later in the races, and that's similar to F1, and it's very similar in this series. So maybe the lap times start dropping, but whoever's quick and consistent, they can do well.
Ribeiro dreams of being an IMSA or IndyCar racer if everything goes well with his racing career. Started at the age of 14. Favorite movie is Rush, the great Niki Lauda, James Hunt movie.
Absolutely.
It's a pretty good one. But how does a guy from Brazil become a fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Is that what he says right
Hockey
there?
team.
Pittsburgh Penguins. Huh. I actually...
You're Brazilian, right?
Funny
So-
enough, I am Brazilian, but I actually played hockey.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe we got something in common. Maybe I'll talk to him after this
Yeah,
race.
you might need to. Well, it's all working for him right now as he sits in second. We'll see if he can catch up to Bowling. Bowling has not been able to scoot away as far as I thought he might in these early stages because he got a fantastic start. But Bruno's hanging there with him and dragging Ambiato along with him.
Sometimes it's a mental game. The guy sitting in second can see the guy in front of him and kind of gives him a boost to push hard and fight. And the guy in first is kind of sometimes nervous, but that depends on the experience and the skill of the driver if they have that mental fortitude to stay at the front. So I think Bruno right here is putting in some quick times and reeling in Jet, which is unfortunate, but it's going to look like a good battle.
I think a lot of drivers will tell you it's easier to be the chaser than the chasee.
Absolutely, absolutely. With experience, that gets a little bit
changes, right? Yeah. Ben was talking a lot at the beginning of the show about the floor on these race cars, but it's a flat bottom race car?
Yes, it's a flat bottom race car. We have I'm not sure about these Formula regional cars, but the car I work with, it's a wooden plank on the bottom that we measure. It's a certain millimeter that we have to be within the regulations. I don't know if you remember in Formula 1 they had an issue with that. But yeah, flat bottom car. But these Formula regional cars, you can see in the back, massive carbon fiber diffusers, massive high-tech aero. So of course you can't see it right here, but there's a lot of ground effect going on with those cars. And if anything goes wrong, you maybe hit a rock or have some contact, you lose a lot of grip.
Here at NOLA, the biggest thing you got to worry about running over is an alligator. Oh, one car around right there. Just back end of our shot from the drone. He was right in the middle of the racetrack. That looked like it was over by turn 3.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I see a guy all the way trailing in the back. Number 7 right over there. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's Anthony Audiello right there, who, as you can tell from the car, is a huge fan of the John Player Special Lotus.
I was about to say, I do love the colors of the car.
And isn't everybody a huge fan of the John Player Special Lotus? Any iteration. From Mario to Senna, they all look great. Emo's version.
Here, we got the cars running by the booth just now. Bruno is reeling in Jet.
He really is, isn't he?
Maybe about 0.6 of a second a lap, so he's really putting in a quicker time.
You can see those hands working, and we went over that big bump at the turn into turn 1.
Absolutely.
You could really see that jerk the wheel.
Absolutely, absolutely. Heading into turn 1, not only is there a massive bump right on the apex, sometimes we bottom out in the car, especially in the JFC. We do that heading in about, I believe, 60 miles per hour. But on the inside as well, there was some repaving, so there's much more bumps there. So when you want to go for a move and you're diving into the inside, braking hard, you have a much bumpier ride than the guy on the outside.
For a Hankook corner there. And these Mission Foods S's. Mission Foods, of course, that's a huge part of our variety of championships. Mr. Gonzalez and his crew do such a wonderful job. If you go hungry around a Mission Foods race, it is your own fault.
Yeah, we got a couple of chip bags over at our trailer.
Yeah.
We've been munching on it.
Everybody does.
Yeah, there you go. You see Jet actually going up onto that curbing. That's something that you can utilize at this track. Oh.
One car visiting pit road.
Yeah, one car. I believe that was a car that was off, maybe mechanical issues. Nothing travel
Yeah.
really can do. That's unfortunate, but he seems to either repair and go out or just call it off.
All right, you got inside of 10 minutes left to go here, Daniel. What are you thinking about now?
I'm thinking about how much these top three have kind of booked it, and they're still in the fight. So if I was Bruno, I'd just be putting my head down, making sure I can make the move as soon as possible and not have Nico right behind me join us in the battle. That's my goal as a driver, and sometimes you don't need to lead the whole race. You can just make the move in the last corner and you win. That's all that matters.
Titus Sherlock right here in the 31, holding down 4th position.
Absolutely. Titus is a really quick kid. He, unfortunately, I believe, raced 2 motor issues while leading. Really unfortunate. That's heartbreaking as a driver, but shakes it off, and look at him sitting in 4th. I know he's a quick kid. He'll pick it up. Yeah, and another kid right behind him, Brady Golan, another friend of mine. He's a really quick kid. He's been racing in almost every car he can this year. He had the win last race, I believe, and now he's fighting up there with those guys. Of course, not for the podium this race, but I think he has a good chance for later in this championship. Those are some really quick kids.
That's Golan right there, Brady Golan running in 5th. Titus Sherlock just in front of him that we were talking about before. I know everybody in this category, basically in all of our categories of open wheel racing up and down the ladder system, are all sim racers.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about Titus when it comes to sim racing is he owns his own sim racing team.
Really?
Yeah, which has become a very popular thing to do.
I actually do remember he talked to me. He was doing one of the 24-hour IA racing endurance races, and he texted me like, "Hey man, would you like to do it?" And I was like, I don't know. I'm not too good of a sim racing driver. I'm a little older than these guys, and it's a little different for the skill level because I don't have the really top of the line sims.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's quick not only on the track in a real car, but open up a computer and he's really
pretty
quick
solid there too, huh?
Sim racing nowadays has been a big part in training and the development of drivers, and we're actually here with the Prodigy series right next to us. Really, really quick kids. They're incredible, and most of them never even sat in a race car, let alone drive one, and they're putting record lap times. It's incredible, and I think it's something we will see a lot more in the future.
Yeah, just like that movie was it Gran Turismo, which was a true story of the young man that got the opportunity through Nissan.
That's Jan, and he's really quick, still involved, and even involved with Ligier, I believe. So.
Yeah. So Bowling continues to lead with 7 minutes now, less than 7 remaining in our event here.
Yeah, look at these top 3 reeling each other in. I think Titus is a little too far back to fight for this one.
As good as the hand-cooked tires are, and everybody gets 2 sets for the weekend, I think all 3 of these guys here all started on scuffs.
Yep.
So as good as those tires are, they've been racing hard, so the goodie is wearing off, as they say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're fantastic tires, have a lot of life in them, but once that life reaches the end, it falls off pretty quick.
And as hard as these guys are pushing, they're wearing it out.
Exactly. These Formula Regional cars have a lot of forces going through them, and I think they hit that ceiling a little bit quicker, and once they hit that ceiling, it drops really fast. Oh, look at this. We got
Ribeiro getting challenged by Ambiato up the inside. Ambiato completing the pass.
Wow.
Take over second place with 6 minutes left here in our FR America's Championship race number 3 on this opening weekend of the 2025 championship.
That's a fantastic move. That's on the long triple right-hander 5, 6, and 7. That's a hard move to make, but it kind of slows you down for these S's. I think Nico believed he's got the pace. He just wanted to get past Bruno, and now that you see that has the clean air, look at the gap.
Yeah, let's see if he can catch up to Bowling now with just a few minutes left in this one.
Let's see how his times are. I think he can possibly reel him in it. I don't think things I wanted to mention is, as you saw a couple seconds ago, Nico hopping up onto those curbs. This track has very wide curves, similar to F1 style. And what we can do is, when we're starting to have the degradation affect the car really heavily, you can, if it's a smooth enough curb, hop up and let rotate the car. So you'll see the guys possibly later in the race start using that to rotate rather than forcing it on the tires. And that can possibly save some life.
Good look at Nicholas Stoddy right there in the 15. He runs in 6th position right now. Well, IndyCar has run here in the past, so this track has been brought up to a very, very high level of safety standards all the way around.
Absolutely.
Stoddy from Perth, Australia, running one of the Kiwi Motorsports entries. Had a chance to go to Perth last year. Beautiful city.
I still haven't made the trip down there, but I will for sure. Maybe I'll run into the Kiwi guys in New Zealand as well.
There you go. It's a long way, but well worth the effort. Sherlock and Golan still battling here for 4th.
Yeah, Golan, he's just far enough where he's getting that air wash through the fast S's, and there's not much you can do in these specific cars about that. He's just got to make sure he's quicker in the slower section so he can try to trail behind him. But just like F1, these guys deal with a lot of air wash.
Ribeiro is definitely dropping off this front group of 2. Oh, problems here for the 46 car of Roberts.
Oh yeah, that's heading right into turn 13. From when I was here last in 2023, it was a lot smoother through that section. Turn 13's got massive 2 bumps right on the apex, and almost every lap we scrape the bottom of the car. It can completely upset, and that's probably why he was facing the other way around.
Yeah, Roberts is in 10th, dropped to 11th now due to the spin. The Atlantic Team Roberts Racing, ApexSpeed.com, Entropy Sellers backed entry out of LaGrange, Georgia. There's Sherlock.
Yeah, about 4 or 3.5 seconds behind this front pack. Good recovery, but as a driver, I can feel for them when you're sitting in 4th, knowing you can have the pace to win. It's a little heartbreaking.
Boy, it looked like Bowling's front end danced around on him a little bit, a turn in there.
Oh yeah, look at this. He had a mistake
right
there.
A lot of pressure. Ambiato looking inside.
Absolutely.
And coming alongside.
There you go, round the outside. There's a lot of grip there. I think he can carry it. And boom, that's a move for the lead.
Fantastic racing here. 2 minutes left to go in this one. Bowling has led every lap till right now as Ambiato completes the pass. Nicholas Ambiato out of Davenport, Florida, another one of those Kiwi Motorsports racers.
Yeah, really, really quick kid. He's been in this car, I believe, partial or full season all last year. Even back then, he's been driving this car, and he's a really, really quick kid. And as you can see, taking the lead. And like I said, all that matters is that he takes the lead in the final couple of laps.
Yeah, and he's got that fresh air you've been talking about, and is it ever making a difference for him? Let's go back and take a look at it and walk me through this, Daniel.
Yeah, of course. We got heading up into the post S's, so 12 into 13. He dives around right into the inside, decides to back out, but Jet looked in his mirrors, kind of hesitated, and slowed down. And as Nico heads into turn 14, carries it around the outside, and there's a lot of grip there. It's a move I've done before, and it's very easy to do. And unfortunately, Jet lost that lead, and once he's in the dirty air, he's just holding it back in second. Fantastic move. Really good job there, Nico.
That is exactly how you want to do that, and it just goes to show how much grip there is around this racetrack, all the way around it.
Exactly, exactly. Fantastic race to make a lot of crazy moves in almost every corner.
And he's already capping himself pretty much to Bowling and Ribeiro as the checkered flag comes out here as they complete the final lap. Nicholas Ambiato with a brilliant pass on the white flag lap, or next to white flag lap, takes the win as the 24 Jansen spins off course in the final lap. Jet Bowling, who led all but the final 2 laps, will finish in second, 1.2 seconds behind Ambiato, and Ribeiro will cross the line in third, another couple of tenths back behind Bowling. Here comes the rest of the field. Sherlock and Golan will round out the top 5. Stoddy, Quimby, Lawley, Day, and Wolf, the top 10.
Fantastic race up there in the top 3. Really impressed. And shame for Jet. I know he was fighting the whole race in the lead, but Nico just made the move when it counts, and incredible driving from all 3 of them in the top 3.
Well, he did everything right.
Exactly.
His initial start was fantastic.
Yeah.
The rolling restart was great. He didn't do anything wrong. It just at the end of the race, Ambiato just had the quicker car.
Exactly. That too. And when Jet's looking in his mirrors every lap and seeing Nico come closer and closer, I think he knew it was coming.
It fills your head up, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Fantastic job. I believe he started further back on the grid too.
He
I'm
was
not sure.
in the 3rd position, I
Third.
believe.
Wow, incredible. Moving up all the way into first. Really impressed.
2nd or 3rd. It was near the front. Not on the pole, that was Bowling.
Oh, I think
Audiello finished as well in 14th.
I think he's got another lap apparently.
There he is.
He's doing a victory lap for sure. I would too if I was winning.
Headed over to winner's circle. Oh, I thought that was, we got 2 orange cars out there. I think that was Sherlock. This is Ambiato still running around, like you said.
Yeah, that's a victory lap for him. I think he deserves it.
Without a doubt. And the last lap of the weekend for our open wheel racing coverage here on Speed Sport 1 from the Speed Tour at NOLA Motorsports Park. Did you get a chance to get down to Bourbon Street and do any of that?
I have not, but with a couple podiums that I got to get, might as well do it tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah, Nico too. Maybe I'll run into him. We'll celebrate.
There you go. And on to Road America now, right?
Yes, sir. That's a quick track too, so keep my head down and hopefully I can take over this championship lead.
Who do you think is going to be the toughest competitor for you in JFC?
I think it's Gaston. Gaston is a really quick kid. He's got a little bit more racing experience than I do, but I have more experience on this car. He's got a great team behind him, as we do. We have a fantastic team, and I think he's got a good chance, but I'm going for it.
There you go. Well, we wish you all the luck with it. We can't wait to get to Road America in May and check it out. Enjoy the racing there and maybe swing by Siebkins while we're there.
Exactly. There you go. Now he's coming in.
Now he's on the return road to the pit area. All right, yeah, let's go down to Ben Sissel and see if he can catch up with some of the other competitors. Take it away, Ben.
Well, thank you very much, Ralph. This truly is the Formula Regional Americas Championship because we have Chile and we have Brazil represented here on the podium. We have the United States represented by the state of Texas. I'm going to talk to Jet Bowling, who led for most of that race. What a great race out there. What happened there with about a lap and a half left?
Yeah, I don't want to make an excuse, but I'm going to. There was something loose in the pedal box, and it found its way behind the brake pedal. So going into 13, I just couldn't get the pressure I needed, so that's why I went off, and that's why Ambiato had the gap. So unfortunate, but it was a good drive.
Well, when something like that happens, you're fortunate to make it in. You know, a lot of people wouldn't be able to finish the race, so great recovery from you.
Yeah, thank you. Nice job.
And then we have Nicholas Ambiato coming in. I think he took an extra victory lap out there. Not sure what happened, but you can see his friend from Chile, Clemente Huerta, giving him a big congratulations. If you've been watching our comment section, you've seen a lot of Chilean flags, so how about that for Nicholas Ambiato? This is a clean sweep, 1, 2, 3 provisionally for Kiwi Motorsport and Formula Regional Americas Championship round 3. So, Nicholas, take off your helmet. I want to talk to you. As you see the Kiwi team coming in here, giving them congratulations. Tina comes in to give him a big hug. 2 second-place finishes for the weekend. race 1 and 2, and then he gets on the top step. I'm sure he's going to be happy about that. So Nicholas Ambiato taking off the Hans device. So excited. 2 second place and a first place finish. Provisionally, you have to be the points leader there. How was the race?
Wow, that's a very difficult. It's so hit. Yeah, the first time in the race, I had with Jet and Bruno had so fast, but yeah, I had just a little more downforce in the final in the race, and takes it they open the door and pass the Bruno and Jet.
Tell us about that pass for the lead.
Yeah, I think Jet have go to a little more break and block. Yeah, in the turn, I think in the other turn, I take in the outside. Yeah, that's a very nice move.
Now, we have a lot of Spanish comments in the comment section, a lot of Chilean flags. Take your time. Speak to your Chilean and South American friends.
Yeah, I need just thanks for my team.
No, en español.
In Spanish. Bueno, quiero agradecer a toda la gente que me ha apoyado, a mi país, Chile. Y bueno, quiero agradecer también a toda mi familia, al equipo, que han hecho un gran trabajo durante todo el fin de semana. Así que quiero agradecer a todos.
Well, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Nicholas Ambiato being given the Chilean flag by his friend Clemente Huerta, who's in the F4 championship. So we're about to get going here at our victory circle. I'm going to send it back up to you in the booth, Ralph.
All right, Ben, thanks. Boy, you can see how physically demanding it is. He's out of breath. What looked like an easy race, he was working extremely hard to pull that off.
I was just about to say the same thing. They're exhausted, and especially these Formula Regional cars, they are not easy to drive. It's not like your regular day street car. No ABS, no traction control, and no power steering. So you're forcing every part of your body, and he's probably exhausted, but happy to take the win.
And as we go back to show you the looks, what's happening with the victory podium, what a shame for Jet Bowling, as he mentioned something got loose in the car. That happens. Boy, almost got it to the finish, but he ends up with a second. And how about Ambiato? Boy, 3 races and your worst finish
One more
is
round
a
of
pair
applause.
of
Let's hear
seconds.
it.
Exactly.
Pretty solid.
Okay, it's our first podium sweep of the week of the year for Kiwi Motorsport. Let's talk to our third place finisher, Bruno Ribeiro. Bruno, 2 podiums for you this weekend. It was a great race, but I can tell you're hot. It's a hot day out here today.
Yeah, I felt a bit tired today. I think that's what was missing at the end, just a bit of physical from my side. But either way, it was a good race. I felt like I had some pace in the beginning, but just couldn't match it in the end.
Anybody to thank?
I'd like to thank my mechanic, Thomas, my engineer, Steven, and everyone who's worked so hard for me to get here. It's my first race, but I'm sure it'll improve throughout the season.
Congratulations. Bruno Ribeiro, a 2-time podium finisher this weekend. Let's talk to Jet Bowling. Had some bad luck in the second race, but you came back with almost a win, my friend. It was so close, but Nico had a little for you at the last lap.
Yeah, there's something loose in the pedal box, which just made it hard to be consistent. Yeah, Nico made a great move coming out of the S's, so unfortunate, but I was proud of the race I drove for the conditions in the weekend I had.
Yeah, and a stonking lap yesterday to, start on the pole. That's certainly good stuff. Tell us about anybody you'd like to thank.
Yeah, I want to thank the Lord. I can't do anything without him. I want to thank Ryan, Steven, Gary, and Jesse. It was a difficult weekend, but we were all patient, and we put a decent one together. I think we came out with pretty good points considering all things considered.
Well done. Jet Bowling, ladies and gentlemen, second place finisher. Our winner's been on the podium twice already this weekend, but he tops it off with a win. Nico Ambiato, a fantastic move on the penultimate lap.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I take that move in the final. I think the last part of the race. But yeah, I just need to thank for my team, all team Kiwi Motorsport. A good race. I need to thank for that good race with Bruno. Just incredible. Yeah, I need obviously my family and my friends.
Congratulations, Nico Ambiato. Our drivers all with the Hankook hats on to acknowledge our tire supplier for all 3 of our championships. Thanks to Hankook for all they do for us. Okay.
Doing the hat dance down there from the Hankook Tires hat to the Ligier hats.
Sorry, we had to trade microphones. Second round of hats for Ligier, of course, the manufacturer of these beautiful from the Regional Americas chassis. And we have one more award to make for our final podium of the weekend. The stewards of the meeting, the guys up in race control that are running the show, make the award of the Omologato perfectly timed move of the race for the driver who does the best overall job over the course of the weekend. And I'm proud to present this to Nico Ambiato. Congratulations, Nico. Okay, it's time for the Pellegrino celebration for our drivers. Let's have one more big round of applause for Bruno Ribeiro, Jet Bowling, and Nico Ambiato, all from Kiwi Motorsport.
Well, that was a great way to wrap up the podium celebration. Well, we are done with the racing live here on Speed Sport 1, but we've got a lot more coming your way here from NOLA Motorsports Park. Stay with us. Our friends at Live Race Services, who handle all the production from here at NOLA, have some really cool content for you when we return to NOLA.
Yes. Hon, the WeatherTech's here.
WeatherTech is the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Laser measured floor liners, no drill mud flaps, cargo liner, bump step, seat protector, and cup phone.
What about my car?
WeatherTech.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Park. All three of our open wheel categories that you've enjoyed here this morning on Speed Sport 1, the cars are all built by the folks at Ligier, a legendary brand in motorsports. Mo Murray heads up Ligier North America, and he explains the differences in the cars.
Hi, my name is Mo Murray with Ligier Automotive North America, and we build race cars. I'm going to tell you about three types of race cars that race as the open wheel series at NOLA Motorsports. We have the newly renamed Ligier JFC Junior Formula Championship. We have F4 US, the FIA F4 Championship for the US, and we have Formula Regional Americas, the next level up from F4, covering all of the Americas. Let's go have a look at the cars. This car we're we're looking at here is the Ligier JFC car, newly renamed series, the Junior Formula Challenge. It's originally the Gen 1 F4 car, Ligier JSF 416, raced in the US in F4 from 2016 all the way through 2023. This car is similar to the others in that it has a full carbon tub, aluminum wing on this one, steel wishbones and suspension components, carbon crash structures front and back. Drivers in this series can race from the age of 14 years of age, which is great for drivers coming out of karting. It's a great opportunity for drivers to step into the world of car racing initially. This one has the same Honda engine as the Formula Regional car, except the regional car, of course, has a turbocharger. This makes about 180 horsepower. Very mild aero in this car, not a lot of aero help for the drivers. But the big difference with this car visually, to look at this car, is of course there's no halo. Now the halo was developed and conceived long after this car was invented, and so you cannot retrofit a halo onto these because of the structure of the tub. So that's how you can tell this car on track. It's older. It fully meets FIA safety standards from 2016 when it was born, but that did not include a halo. The new F4 and the Formula Regional car, of course, are halo cars, or as we call halo cars. Still a great platform for young drivers to step away from karting and into car racing as their first step. So F4 US, a very important championship in driver development, all around the world actually F4, but in the US a very important series for drivers looking to advance their way up the motorsports ladder. This is the latest F4 US car. It's called a Ligier JSF 422. Like the other cars, has a carbon fiber tub, comes from Ligier's sister company HP Composites. Carbon fiber nose box and rear crash structure. This one has the halo we talked about, so the halo's a FIA mandated safety device that stops intrusion into the helmet area, keeping drivers safe. V4 pushrod engine in the back of it, 1.6 litre, about 180 horsepower. Drivers in this car can race at 15 years of age, which is great for young drivers, again, climbing the ladder, karting, Ligier JFC, F4, and then all the way up to Formula Regional. Like I mentioned, V4 pushrod engine making about 180 horsepower. SVRA gearbox, again 6-speed sequential gearbox, operated of course with paddles on the steering wheel. Again, mild aero on this, a little more than the JFC car, but not as much as a Formula Regional car. This car will do, and it's geared at a big racetrack like Road America or someplace like that, about 152 miles an hour, which when there's a 15-year-old behind the wheel that's a big boy car. And these cars are very competitive. All around the world, drivers look to F4 in order to begin their journey up the motorsports ladder, and this is the US version of it, the Ligier JSF 422. So let's meet the Ligier JSF 318, Ligier's Formula Regional Americas car. This car is powered by a Honda turbocharged engine. It's essentially the same engine as the JFC car, but this one has a turbocharger, makes about 303 horsepower. It's prepared by Mountoon, great partners in the series, but originally was a Honda engine. SVRA gearbox, 6-speed sequential gearbox, paddle shifters of course for all of these. Plenty of aero help on this. Great view of the top side of the diffuser on the back of this. Carbon wings front and rear on this car. This car has a full carbon tub, which most race cars have these days. This carbon tub is made at HP Composites in Italy, a Ligier company. And of course, this car includes a halo, FIA safety device mandated for all cars built from 2018 and forward. This is a 318, and this is the top level of the open wheel series at NOLA Motorsports. It's known as Formula Regional Americas, and these cars are compatible with and competitive with other Formula Regional series around the world, where lots of young drivers are going to earn their way up to F3, F2, and ultimately Formula One.
All right, Mo, thank you very much. A great explanation of the 3 different categories in our open wheel formulas that we race here. Looking forward to see them in action again at Road America coming up in May. And cars still gathering up in the Park for May area. And Ben Sissel, they got a lot of activity down there, a lot of cars to get through.
They do, Ralph. A lot of cars to get through, especially this back-to-back-to-back. But, man, I love doing this coverage with Speed Sport 1. It made for some great shows today, so thank you very much for letting us be a part of the day. But this is Parc Fermé. This is an FIA-sanctioned series. We have to follow FIA rules. So they come down here. The drivers, the crews are not allowed to touch the cars, make any kind of changes. They sit in here. The tech inspectors will tell which cars they want to come through. But the reason that we do this is, let's just say, hypothetically, if they find a tech infraction with the car that finished first, then the second place car finishes first for the race, and other cars move up, and they'll bring in the fourth place car, tech it, and make sure. And there have been races in some instances in the last decade where maybe the fifth place car actually finished first because of technical infractions. So now we come back here around our beautiful truck, the SpeedTour truck that's here, into the tech inspection area under these garages at NOLA. So our tech inspectors, this is a neat thing that Lisa's doing here. Every single video card on every single car has to be turned in to Lisa by the number. And the stewards can go through and look at anything that happened on the track for all 9 races this weekend. They can look through. They're going to be here till late in the night, Scott Goodyear and his team, reviewing these video cards. The team has to turn those video cards in with, I think, 30 minutes of the finish of the race. Then we come over here. Mike is over here taking all the weights. So you can see each one of these here with MK Technologies, these beautiful scales. Each scale is getting a wheel weight. Then it goes out to the total weight. They weigh each car. They also have these what are called templates. So you can see these templates right here for each of the series to make sure that their rear wing, that their front wing, that the ride heights, that the shocks, we have sealed shocks here, that everything is to code, that what Michael is looking for, and Aaron over here, who is our chief of tech, all the little things that they're looking for. So you can see here right now, they're scrutinizing the winner of the last race, actually taking off. What are they taking off there, Aaron?
It's a engine cover breather, but it has a specified orifice size. So we're checking to make sure it's open and it's the right size.
Yeah. So this is a pretty, like you can see here, they go through a lot of scrutineering to make sure that everything is to spec, that all these cars are very equally yoked, that it's up to the driver. You can see here, these are the seals. They cannot change these shocks or do anything to the internals of the shocks without breaking the seal, and that's how we know. These engines are also sealed with Montoon, so we can tell if they're doing anything in there. But so they're looking at the orifice and the diameter of anything in there. You can also see there's a seal here. So this is a very spec series that is very good for driver development. Then you can see here, my friend Stefan has actually plugged his laptop into the computer to go through all the data to make sure that he doesn't see anything that's out of the ordinary, that everything looks to snuff. Also what they can do is he can take the data from this car and overlay it with other cars to make sure that all the cars are performing in the same way, as we see Bruno Ribeiro now pushing his car up onto the scales. And then we can see exactly what they're going to do here in the scales. You can see how all 4 corners are represented by a scale. This also helps out the teams in the setup of the car because they think, well, if this right rear is getting too much weight, they might need to make an adjustment in the overall balance of the car, in the suspension of the car. But this has got to be nerve-wracking. We're going to try to talk to Bruno Ribeiro right now, who finished on the podium. I believe he finished 3rd, right? And so when you finish a race like this on the podium, is this also nerve-wracking, making sure that everything is up to snuff with the teams?
Of course, but you got to trust your team, right? I believe 100% in them, and it's just regular procedure. Everybody's got to make weight. In the end, it's really important, and yeah, I believe them.
But when they go through such a scrutineering process like this, you also know that you're on an even plane with all the other drivers, that it's basically driver talent that can win these races.
Yeah, it's very good to know that. I really appreciate that by the series. Everybody, they check everything on the car, the weight, all the regulations, the floor, and I really appreciate that.
Nice. Well, before we go, let's get a little bit. You can see Mike's writing down.
All right, Ben, thank you very much as we're wrapping things up here in NOLA Motorsports Park with our Mission Foods Speed Tour event here, live on Speed Sport 1. Well, Sonoma is up next for us with the Speed Tour. We'll be there Thursday, April 24th through Sunday the 27th. You'll be able to catch all the action live on Speed Sport 1, the home for the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. We'll have TA, we'll have XGT, SGT, GT, the very exciting TA2 category, and a whole bunch of great action with the SVRA. Don't miss it, live on Speed Sport 1. Thanks for joining us here today at NOLA Motorsports Park. I'm Ralph Shaheen for Ben Sissel. We'll see you in Sonoma, everybody. Goodbye.